The day was overcast, matching the somber mood as mourners gathered for Rachel's funeral. Her husband Jack stood at the forefront, his expression carefully composed. Beside him, his mistress, Stacy, played the role of a supportive friend, their true relationship hidden beneath a facade of condolence. Rachel's friends and family, unaware of Jack's deceitful nature, offered their sympathies, while Jack's mind was already focused on the next steps he needed to take. The funeral service proceeded with heartfelt eulogies, recalling Rachel's kindness, strength, and the tragedy of her untimely death. As the ceremony concluded, Jack felt a sense of anticipation. He was eager to visit the notary and secure his late wife's inheritance. Stacy, sensing his impatience, whispered reassurances, believing that soon their lives would be transformed by Rachel's fortune. Leaving the cemetery, Jack and Stacy drove directly to the notary's office. Jack's thoughts raced with visions of wealth and freedom. He had married Rachel primarily for her money, and now that she was gone, he expected to finally reap the rewards of his patience. The notary's office loomed ahead, a symbol of the riches he believed were just within reach. Upon entering the notary's office, Jack's heart pounded with excitement. Stacy, ever the supportive partner, squeezed his hand reassuringly. They were greeted by the notary, a stern-looking man who invited them to sit and began explaining the proceedings. Jack tried to maintain a calm demeanor, but his eagerness was palpable. As the notary read through the will, Jack's confidence began to waver. The document detailed Rachel's wishes, meticulously outlined to protect her assets and ensure her legacy was honored. Jack's anticipation turned to confusion when the notary mentioned Rachel's son, Tommy. Jack had no knowledge of this child and felt a surge of anger and betrayal. The final blow came when the notary announced that Rachel had left everything to her son Tommy, with Carl Trays and Mr. Langford appointed as guardians and administrators of the estate. Jack's face drained of color as he processed the enormity of his loss. Stacy's grip on his hand tightened, and he struggled to maintain composure, realizing his plans had been utterly derailed. Jack's marriage to Rachel had been a calculated move. 3 years ago, he had charmed her with sweet words and promises, all while seeing her as a means to an end. Rachel, the sole heir to her father's business, had been vulnerable in grieving the sudden death of her father. Jack saw an opportunity and seized it, convincing Rachel that he loved her deeply. Rachel had fallen for Jack's deceit, seeing him as a source of comfort and stability during her darkest times. Jack played his role perfectly, providing support and care as Rachel navigated her new responsibilities as the head of her father's business. The truth was that Jack was merely biding his time, waiting for the moment when he could claim her wealth as his own. Despite Jack's lack of genuine affection, their marriage appeared ideal from the outside. Friends and family saw a devoted husband and a successful wife, unaware of Jack's manipulative intentions. Rachel's diagnosis and subsequent battle with cancer only strengthened her trust in Jack, never suspecting that his motives were anything but pure. Rachel's inheritance had come as a shock to her and everyone who knew her. Her father, a robust and dynamic businessman, had died unexpectedly, leaving his entire fortune to his only child. The sudden responsibility had been overwhelming for Rachel, but she rose to the occasion, determined to honor her father's legacy. Jack, seeing Rachel's newfound wealth, saw his golden opportunity. He intensified his efforts to win her over, showering her with affection and support. Rachel, still grieving, found solace in Jack's attentions and leaned on him heavily. Little did she know that Jack's interest in her was purely financial. As Rachel took control of her father's business, she displayed a strength and resilience that impressed many. Jack, however, was focused solely on how he could exploit this situation to his advantage. He began to weave a web of deceit, planning how he would secure Rachel's fortune for himself once she was gone. Jack's true nature was one of selfishness and manipulation. From a young age, he had learned to live off others, charming his way into the lives of wealthy women who could provide for him. His handsome looks and smooth-talking ways made it easy for him to deceive those around him, masking his true intentions. With Rachel, Jack saw a long-term opportunity. He pretended to be the perfect husband, attentive and caring, all while planning how he would eventually claim her wealth. Rachel's illness, a devastating blow to her, was seen by Jack as a potential acceleration of his plans. He hid his true feelings, continuing to play the role of the supportive spouse. Despite his careful facade, Jack's true nature occasionally surfaced. He treated Rachel's illness with a cold detachment, more concerned about how it affected his plans than her well-being. His numerous affairs were poorly concealed, and though Rachel was aware of his infidelities, she was too exhausted by her illness to confront him. Jack believed he was untouchable, but Rachel had other plans. Jack's manipulation extended beyond his relationship with Rachel. He expertly navigated social situations, charming Rachel's friends and business associates to create a network of people who believed in his facade. His charm was his greatest weapon, and he used it to maintain control over Rachel and her surroundings. Throughout Rachel's illness, Jack played the part of the concerned husband perfectly. He attended medical appointments, reassured her when she was down, and ensured that everyone saw him as a devoted spouse. In reality, he was counting the days until he could claim his prize. Jack's deception was thorough, and he left no stone unturned in his quest for wealth. However, Jack's manipulation was not without its cracks. His impatience sometimes got the better of him, leading to moments where his true intentions almost slipped through. Rachel's godfather, Mr. Langford, was particularly suspicious of Jack, seeing through his charming exterior. Despite these suspicions, Jack managed to maintain his grip on Rachel, convincing her that his love was genuine. Rachel's health declined rapidly after her cancer diagnosis. The once vibrant and energetic woman became a shadow of her former self, weakened by treatments and the progression of the disease. Despite her suffering, Rachel remained determined to manage her father's business and ensure its success. Jack, meanwhile, began to see Rachel's decline as an opportunity. He played the supportive husband, but his thoughts were constantly on the inheritance he believed would soon be his. He grew increasingly frustrated with the limitations imposed by Rachel's godfather and the prenuptial agreement that restricted his access to her wealth. Rachel's decline also brought out moments of vulnerability in her. She confided in Jack about her fears and hopes, unaware that he was only listening to further his own plans. She believed that Jack would take care of her business and legacy, trusting him completely. Little did she know that Jack's intentions were far from noble. Rachel's cancer diagnosis was a devastating blow. She had always been healthy and active, and the news came as a shock. The doctors were clear about the severity of her condition, and Rachel faced a grueling battle ahead. Despite the prognosis, she approached her illness with a sense of determination and hope. Jack, upon hearing the diagnosis, felt a mixture of frustration and anticipation. He knew that Rachel's illness could accelerate his plans, but he also realized that her godfather, Mr. Langford, would become even more protective. Jack had to tread carefully, maintaining his facade of support while secretly planning for the future. Rachel's treatments took a toll on her physically and emotionally. She endured surgery, chemotherapy, and countless medical appointments. Throughout it all, she believed in Jack's unwavering support, unaware that his thoughts were on her inheritance. The diagnosis marked the beginning of a challenging journey for Rachel, one that she faced with courage and resilience. As Rachel's health deteriorated, she began to make plans for her estate and the future of her business. She was acutely aware of Jack's true nature, having observed his behavior and infidelities. Determined to protect her legacy, Rachel devised a meticulous plan to ensure that Jack would not benefit from her death. Rachel's first step was to reach out to Carl, a trusted friend who had always been there for her. She proposed an unconventional plan. Carl would father her child, and her estate would be left to this child. Carl, after much deliberation, agreed to Rachel's request, understanding her need to secure her legacy and protect her assets from Jack. Rachel's plan also involved Mr. Langford, her godfather, who would act as a guardian and administrator of her estate. She meticulously outlined her wishes in her will, ensuring that Jack would be left with nothing. As she prepared for the end, Rachel found solace in knowing that her son would be cared for and that her legacy would remain intact. Rachel's decision to have a child with Carl was driven by her desire to leave a lasting legacy. She had preserved her eggs before starting cancer treatment, and with Carl's help, she arranged for a surrogate to carry the child. The process was kept secret. known only to a few trusted individuals. Carl, though initially hesitant, supported Rachel's decision. He understood her need to ensure that her fortune was protected and that her child would be cared for. The pregnancy was closely monitored, and the surrogate mother received the best medical care possible. Rachel, despite her illness, remained involved in every step of the process. The birth of Tommy brought Rachel immense joy. She had achieved her dream of becoming a mother, even in the face of her terminal illness. She kept the child's existence a secret from Jack, knowing that he would seek to exploit the situation. Rachel's focus was on ensuring that Tommy would have a secure and loving future, free from Jack's influence. Carl's agreement to father Rachel's child was not made lightly. He had always admired Rachel and understood the gravity of her request. After careful consideration and discussions with his own family, Carl agreed to help Rachel fulfill her wish. The arrangement was unconventional, but Carl was committed to supporting Rachel in her final days. The process of surrogacy and the birth of Tommy brought Carl and Rachel closer. They shared a bond rooted in trust and mutual respect. Carl took on the role of a guardian, knowing that he was responsible for ensuring Tommy's well-being. He saw it as an honor and a duty to help Rachel secure her legacy. Carl's parents were initially surprised by the arrangement, but came to support their son's decision. They saw the love and determination in Rachel's eyes and understood the importance of their role in Tommy's life. The family rallied around Carl and Rachel, offering their support and preparing to welcome Tommy into their lives. Tommy's birth was a moment of profound joy for Rachel. Despite her illness, she felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination. She cherished every moment she had with her son, knowing that her time was limited. Rachel documented her wishes and plans meticulously, ensuring that Tommy would be cared for and loved after her passing. The existence of Tommy was kept a closely guarded secret. Rachel understood the risks of Jack discovering the truth and took every precaution to protect her son. She trusted Carl and Mr. Langford implicitly, knowing they would honor her wishes and protect Tommy from Jack's influence. Rachel's love for Tommy was evident in every decision she made. She wanted him to grow up in a loving and secure environment, free from the manipulative reach of Jack. Rachel's final months were filled with a mix of joy and sorrow as she prepared to say goodbye while ensuring her son's future was safeguarded. Rachel's will was a testament to her foresight and determination. She worked closely with Mr. Langford and a trusted lawyer to draft a document that would protect her estate and ensure her son's future. The will left nothing to chance, detailing every aspect of Tommy's guardianship and the management of her assets. Rachel's primary concern was to prevent Jack from accessing her fortune. She outlined strict conditions and appointed Carl and Mr. Langford as guardians and administrators of the estate. The will ensured that Jack would receive nothing, cutting him off completely from any financial benefit. Rachel's meticulous planning extended to her funeral arrangements and the reading of the will. She wanted to control the narrative even after her death, ensuring that Jack's true nature would be exposed. Rachel's final act of defiance was a carefully orchestrated plan to protect her legacy and secure her son's future. The day of the will reading was filled with tension and anticipation. Jack, still reeling from the shock of Rachel's death, arrived at the notary's office with Stacy. He expected to hear about his inheritance and was unprepared for the revelations that awaited him. The notary, aware of the sensitive nature of the will, began the reading with a solemn tone. As the contents of the will were revealed, Jack's expression shifted from expectation to disbelief. The announcement of Tommy as Rachel's heir stunned him. The detailed arrangements for Tommy's guardianship and the exclusion of Jack from the inheritance left him humiliated and enraged. Stacy, sensing the gravity of the situation, tried to comfort him, but Jack's fury was palpable. The notary's calm demeanor contrasted with Jack's escalating anger. The room fell silent as the final clauses were read, detailing the legal measures Rachel had taken to ensure her wishes were honored. Jack's plans had been thoroughly thwarted, and he found himself powerless in the face of Rachel's meticulous preparations. The revelation left him seething, with his dreams of wealth shattered. Jack's shock quickly turned to rage as he processed the contents of Rachel's will. He felt betrayed and humiliated, his dreams of a lavish lifestyle slipping away. The realization that Rachel had outsmarted him fueled his anger, and he struggled to contain his emotions in the notary's office. Stacy, witnessing Jack's reaction, tried to calm him down. She understood the gravity of their situation and the need to maintain composure. However, Jack's fury was uncontrollable. He lashed out verbally, accusing the notary of conspiring against him and questioning the legality of the will. His outburst only served to highlight his desperation and lack of control. The notary, unfazed by Jack's tantrum, reiterated the legitimacy of the will and the thoroughness of its preparation. Jack's threats and accusations fell on deaf ears, and he was left with no recourse. The reality of his situation began to sink in, and Jack realized that his only option was to contest the will through legal channels, a process that would be lengthy and uncertain. Stacy played a crucial role in supporting Jack through the aftermath of the will reading. She understood the importance of staying composed and strategic, even as Jack's world crumbled around him. Stacy's loyalty to Jack was rooted in their shared ambitions and a mutual understanding of their precarious situation. Stacy's support extended beyond mere words of comfort. She began to strategize ways they could challenge the will and explore legal options to secure some part of Rachel's estate. Stacy's pragmatic approach provided a counterbalance to Jack's emotional turmoil, helping him regain a semblance of control. Despite her efforts, Stacy couldn't shake the feeling of impending doom. She knew that their chances of overturning the will were slim, given the thoroughness of Rachel's preparations. Nevertheless, Stacy remained by Jack's side, determined to support him through the ordeal and find a way to salvage their future together. As days turned into weeks, Jack's desperation grew. He realized that his chances of legally contesting the will were slim, and his financial situation became increasingly dire. The lavish lifestyle he had envisioned with Rachel's inheritance was now an unattainable dream. Jack's frustration and resentment festered, leading him to consider more drastic measures. Stacy, though supportive, could not quell Jack's growing sense of desperation. He began to see Tommy as the key to his revenge against Rachel and a potential means to secure some of her wealth. Jack's thoughts turned darker as he contemplated kidnapping Tommy, believing that the child's absence would cause Carl and Mr. Langford significant distress. Jack's plan was reckless and driven by his deep-seated anger and frustration. He saw it as his last chance to strike back at Rachel, even from beyond the grave. Stacy, unaware of the full extent of Jack's intentions, tried to maintain a sense of normalcy, but she couldn't ignore the change in Jack's demeanor. His obsession with revenge consumed him, pushing him toward a path of no return. Jack meticulously planned the kidnapping, determined to exact his revenge. He spent days observing Tommy's routine, noting the times when the child was most vulnerable. Jack's surveillance included following Carl and the nanny during their daily walks, identifying potential opportunities to snatch Tommy without drawing attention. Jack's preparations were thorough. He acquired a powerful taser and an untraceable car, stolen plates attached to avoid detection. He chose a secluded spot in the forest where the nanny often walked with Tommy, believing it to be the perfect location for his plan. Jack's obsession with revenge blinded him to the risks and potential consequences of his actions. As the day of the kidnapping approached, Jack's mental state deteriorated. He was consumed by thoughts of revenge, barely eating or sleeping. His appearance became haggard and his behavior erratic. Despite his deteriorating condition, Jack was determined to go through with his plan, convinced that it was the only way to regain control and inflict pain on those he blamed for his misfortune. Unbeknownst to Jack, his meticulous plans were about to be foiled by an unexpected hero. Mr. Turner, a seasoned forest ranger, lived in a cabin near the elite suburban settlement where Carl resided. Turner was known for his keen observation skills and his dedication to the safety of the community. On the day of the planned kidnapping, Turner noticed Jack's suspicious behavior and decided to investigate. Turner's instincts led him to follow Jack discreetly. As Jack prepared to execute his plan, Turner observed from a distance, his suspicions confirmed by Jack's furtive actions. When Jack finally made his move, attempting to tase the nanny and grab Tommy, Turner sprang into action. With years of experience moving silently through the forest, Turner approached unnoticed and struck Jack, knocking him to the ground. The forest ranger's intervention was timely and decisive. He restrained Jack and called the authorities, ensuring that Tommy and the nanny were safe. Turner's bravery and quick thinking prevented a tragedy, and his actions would later be celebrated by the community. Jack, on the other hand, was left to face the consequences of his reckless and vengeful plan. The attempted kidnapping unfolded rapidly. Jack, driven by desperation and rage, attacked the nanny during her routine walk with Tommy. He pushed her to the ground and used the taser, rendering her unconscious. As he reached for the stroller, his plan seemed on the verge of success. However, Jack's moment of triumph was short-lived. Mr. Turner, the forest ranger, struck Jack from behind, incapacitating him. Jack's body crumpled to the ground, his vision blurring as he struggled to comprehend what had happened. Turner quickly restrained him, ensuring he could not escape or harm anyone further. The nanny, regaining consciousness, was shaken but unharmed. Authorities arrived promptly thanks to Turner's swift action. Jack was arrested and taken into custody, his plan thwarted. The attempted kidnapping left the community in shock, but also grateful for the forest ranger's heroism. Jack's descent into madness had culminated in a desperate and ultimately futile act of revenge, leaving him to face the consequences of his actions. Jack's arrest marked the end of his misguided quest for revenge. The forest ranger, Mr. Turner, became an unexpected hero, lauded for his quick thinking and bravery. Jack, now in police custody, faced a barrage of charges, his dreams of wealth and retribution shattered. The community breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that Tommy was safe. Turner, though hailed as a hero, remained humble about his actions. He viewed it as a duty, an instinctive response to protect the vulnerable. His modesty endeared him even more to the community, and he was invited to share his story with local media. Turner, however, preferred to return to his quiet life, satisfied that he had done the right thing. For Jack, the future looked bleak. His arrest was the culmination of his downward spiral, a testament to the destructive power of greed and vengeance. As he sat in his cell, awaiting trial, Jack was forced to confront the reality of his actions and the irrevocable damage he had caused. His once promising life had unraveled, leaving him with nothing but regret. The news of Jack's arrest spread quickly. The community, already shaken by Rachel's death and the revelations of the will, was stunned by the attempted kidnapping. Jack's actions were seen as the final betrayal, solidifying his reputation as a manipulative and dangerous man. The police investigation revealed the extent of Jack's planning, leaving no doubt about his intent. Stacy, who had stood by Jack through his initial shock and rage, found herself alone. The realization of Jack's true nature and the gravity of his crimes overwhelmed her. She distanced herself from him, unwilling to be associated with his actions. Jack's arrest was a turning point for Stacy, forcing her to reevaluate her choices in future. Jack, facing multiple charges including attempted kidnapping and assault, found himself with few allies. The legal battle ahead promised to be grueling, and the chances of a favorable outcome were slim. Jack's life, once filled with ambition and schemes, had devolved into a nightmare of his own making. His arrest marked the beginning of a long and uncertain journey through the justice system. Carl felt an overwhelming sense of relief upon hearing of Jack's arrest. The threat that had loomed over his and Tommy's lives had been neutralized. Carl had always been wary of Jack, knowing his manipulative nature. But the kidnapping attempt had brought the danger into stark reality. Carl's primary focus now was to ensure Tommy's safety and well-being. The arrest also brought a sense of closure for Carl. He had honored Rachel's wishes, standing by her through the unconventional arrangement and protecting her son. Carl's commitment to Rachel's legacy was unwavering, and Jack's removal from their lives allowed him to focus entirely on Tommy's upbringing. The support of his family and community further strengthened his resolve. As Carl settled back into daily life, he reflected on the events that had transpired. The ordeal had tested his strength and resilience, but it had also reinforced the bond he shared with Tommy. Carl was determined to provide a loving and secure environment for the child, ensuring that Rachel's legacy lived on through her son. The future, though uncertain, held promise and hope for Carl and his family. With Jack out of the picture, Tommy's guardianship fell squarely on Carl and Mr. Langford. Both men were committed to fulfilling Rachel's wishes and providing Tommy with a nurturing environment. Carl took on the role of a father with dedication and love, while Mr. Langford offered his wisdom and support, guiding them through the challenges ahead. Tommy, though young, sensed the changes around him. The stability provided by Carl and the extended family offered him a sense of security. Carl ensured that Tommy's days were filled with joy and learning, creating a routine that balanced play and education. The bond between Carl and Tommy grew stronger, rooted in love and mutual respect. Mr. Langford's involvement was invaluable. His experience and guidance helped Carl navigate the complexities of guardianship and estate management. Together, they honored Rachel's legacy, ensuring that her son would grow up with the love and support she had envisioned. Tommy's new guardians were united in their commitment, creating a foundation of stability and care for his future. The transition to a new life without the shadow of Jack's manipulations was a period of adjustment for everyone involved. Carl, now fully responsible for Tommy, embraced his role with determination. He structured their days around routine and stability, providing Tommy with the consistency he needed to thrive. Carl's parents played a crucial role in this new chapter. Their love and support were unwavering, and they welcomed Tommy into their home with open arms. The extended family became a source of comfort and security for the child, ensuring that he never felt alone. Carl's parents also offered practical help, allowing Carl to focus on his duties and responsibilities. The community, aware of the family's ordeal, rallied around them. Friends and neighbors offered their support, providing a network of care and assistance. Carl was grateful for the outpouring of kindness, and it reinforced his belief in the strength of their community. Adjusting to their new life was challenging, but the love and support they received made the journey easier. Rachel's legacy lived on through Tommy and the business she had worked so hard to preserve. Carl and Mr. Langford, guided by Rachel's wishes, managed the business with integrity and dedication. They ensured that Rachel's vision was honored and that the company continued to thrive, providing a secure future for Tommy. Tommy, though too young to understand the full extent of his mother's legacy, was surrounded by reminders of her love and determination. Carl made it a point to share stories about Rachel, showing Tommy pictures and videos that captured her spirit. These moments became a cherished part of their routine, keeping Rachel's memory alive in Tommy's heart. Rachel's legacy was also evident in the lives she had touched. Friends, employees, and community members remembered her kindness and strength, and they honored her by supporting Carl and Tommy. Rachel's influence extended beyond her immediate family, leaving a lasting impact on those who knew her. Her legacy was one of love, resilience, and enduring hope. As time passed, Carl began to see possibilities for a new beginning. His focus remained on Tommy, but he also recognized the importance of finding balance in his own life. Carl's parents encouraged him to socialize and explore opportunities for companionship, knowing that a supportive partner could bring additional joy and stability to their family. Carl's path to a new beginning was gradual. He attended community events, reconnected with old friends, and slowly opened himself up to the idea of finding love again. It was during this period of exploration that Carl met Emily, a single mother whose daughter attended the same kindergarten as Tommy. Their shared experiences as parents created an instant bond. Emily's presence brought new energy into Carl's life. She understood his responsibilities and supported his commitment to Tommy. Their relationship blossomed naturally, rooted in mutual respect and a shared vision for the future. Carl's parents, delighted by the positive change, welcomed Emily and her daughter into their family, seeing it as a sign of hope and renewal. Tommy's home was filled with love and laughter, thanks to the efforts of Carl and their extended family. The child thrived in an environment that prioritized his well-being and happiness. Carl ensured that Tommy's days were structured and filled with enriching activities, balancing learning with play. Emily and her daughter quickly became integral parts of Tommy's life. The children formed a close bond, and their laughter echoed through the house, bringing joy to everyone. Emily's nurturing presence provided additional support for Carl, and together they created a loving and secure home for their blended family. Tommy's memories of his mother were kept alive through stories and mementos. Carl made sure that Rachel's presence was always felt, showing Tommy photos and videos, and sharing anecdotes that highlighted her love and strength. This connection to his mother gave Tommy a sense of identity and continuity, reinforcing the foundation of love that Carl worked so hard to build. Remembering Rachel was an integral part of their daily lives. Carl made it a priority to ensure that Tommy never forgot his mother and the legacy she left behind. He created rituals that honored Rachel's memory, such as visiting her grave on special occasions and celebrating her birthday with stories and memories. Carl also incorporated Rachel's values into their daily routines. He taught Tommy about kindness, resilience, and the importance of family, values that Rachel had embodied throughout her life. These lessons were not only a way to honor Rachel, but also to ensure that her spirit continued to guide and inspire Tommy. The community played a significant role in remembering Rachel as well. Annual events were held in her honor, celebrating her contributions and the impact she had on their lives. These gatherings served as a reminder of the love and respect that Rachel had garnered, reinforcing the sense of community and shared history that connected them all. The journey to finding peace was long and challenging, but Carl, Tommy, and their extended family eventually settled into a new rhythm. The shadows of the past were gradually replaced by the light of new beginnings and the strength of enduring love. Carl's dedication to Tommy and the support of their community created a foundation of stability and hope. Emily's presence brought additional joy and stability to their lives. Together, they navigated the complexities of blending their families, always prioritizing the well-being of their children. Carl's parents, ever supportive, continued to be a source of wisdom and comfort, ensuring that the family remained strong and united. As the years passed, the family found solace in the knowledge that Rachel's legacy lived on through Tommy. Her values, love, and strength were woven into the fabric of their daily lives, guiding them through challenges and celebrations alike. In honoring Rachel's memory and embracing new beginnings, they found the peace they had been seeking, secure in the knowledge that they were building a future filled with love and promise.